Welcome to Southwest Bikes and Beers. This is my 1998 Honda Aero VT 1100 C3. Purchased early in 23 with just over 41,000 Ks on the clock. I'm new to cruisers and I'm no mechanic, so grab a beer and join me on this journey of maintaining and enjoying the ownership of an older bike. Please like, share and subscribe, and remember, the open road is always calling.
Welcome back to Southwest Bikes and Beer. As you're aware, I changed the O-rings on the crossover tube, drained all the coolant obviously, and was having a bit of an issue of why that water wasn't circulating coming out. I had purchased a new water pump. This is it here. I've just taken the cover off and I'll show you in a minute. I can't actually take the water pump out. It looks like it's got to be, the engine's got to come out or drop down to get it, because there's only like 5 or 6 mil to slide that out, and it's not going to happen because I won't even actually get cover off, let alone the rest. So I don't have the tools with capabilities here to do this. So it looks like if this is the issue, I'm going to have to take it somewhere, which I'll you guys will hear about. But what I'm going to do shortly is I'm going to put the bits back together. I'm going to put the bung back in, which is on the water pump at the bottom, and I'm going to take the radiator out, which I'll show you, get the hose through it. You never know, it could be just full of shit. And then what I'm going to do is top it up with radiator flush, start her up and give it a go, get the air out of it, and just see if that's going to help clean out the crap. And maybe that's all the issue is. I mean, once I take the radiator out, that should give me a better indication. So I'll show you how much room I've got between the frame and the water pump, the old one, in a sec. And yeah, it's a bit of a mission. It's just in the way on the 1100. So if there's an easy way of doing it, I'd love you guys to send me a video or a link or something like that, because it's how we learn how to do this stuff, is through each other. So I'll show you this and then we'll get on to the video. Thank you. All right, as you can see, I've taken that cover off, give me a bit of a access in just to have a look and see what's going on. Now, let me just lay down here. Shit. So what we have is this hose up here. So it goes from rubber, goes to steel, flows down, and goes into the water pump here. So that's a solid pipe. Flows down, and that's where it joins up here, and that's the water pump just down the oh, let's have a look underneath here. A little bit bloody easier. So this here is the water pump. So clearly this tube would go off. This goes to the bottom of the radiator. That's the bung, where you drain the coolant from. But as you can see, this gap is moving along. And see this gap? There's the frame. There's the gap. There's no way this is going to be sliding out without dropping or taking out the motor. So I'm not too sure what the go is there. Even the cover here, as you can see, even if I take this off, this isn't going to slide out. There's no room here. So this isn't a job that I'm going to be able to do myself. But what we will do is Phillips head screwdriver right here, take this off. That's the bottom hose, and obviously top hose up and over there. I'm going to take the cover off, take the radiator off, and put the hose through it. So we'll stay tuned. We'll do that together.
As you've noticed, I've sped it up a little bit long to watch. So I've sped her up. So basically all I'm doing is I'm removing the cover there. Once again, use a little magnet tray or a tin stubby holder to put everything in so you don't lose it. And dropping off the bottom hose here. So a little bit of coolant will come out, but not too much. Bit of a bugger. But I use a flathead just to pry it open slowly. You've got to be careful not to split the hose, but I will be replacing that. I have got new ones, but just be aware if you're doing on yours and you're not actually replacing the hose. You can use a seal pick. There's a few tools to do it. There we go. Cool, it's not too bad. I always take my time just to have a look exactly where everything goes, and obviously I've got the, the beauty of I can look at this video and go through it, but just have a look, take photos if you need to, have a look where the wiring goes, because when you put all this back, you don't want anything hitting that thermo fan, hindering it, or cutting wires. It's like a 10mm up top holding it. There's two little grommets where the radiator slips into, and you'll see that once I take the radiator out. And basically once you take that top one 10mm out, you've actually got the top hose that holds it together as well. So there's a few things keeping it there. Have a look, there's a little bit of a bend in that tank, so at one stage she's had a bit of a hit. All my guards and everything are right, so I'm not too sure how or what's happened there, but it's not split, it's not blocked in any way with that. But I think one day I might try to replace it. Good luck, I'll have to get one made up, I reckon. Plodding along, slowly getting there. I mean, I can do it this quick normally. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. The benefits of actually editing like this is actually I'm watching myself work, and I can actually have a beer while I'm editing. Not too bad. I'm trying to undo that hose clamp. Not much room in there, to be honest. Just trying to separate that hose radiator like I did with the bottom. Prying it just slightly, you don't want to be breaking anything. There we go. Bit of wiring still. Oh, there goes the hose clamp. Nice, we'll get there. Should have wiring to the thermal switch and also to the thermal fan. One on either side. I actually want to take that thermal fan off the radiator. There we go, once again, magnet tray. Okay. You'll see on the sides little grommet bits that hold it in, down the bottom. There you go, sticks it out there. That's what rubs in, or holds it in I should say. Into a bit of wiring, because I want to take that whole thermal fan off. Just be careful not to stretch any wiring here. And don't forget, they're older bikes we're working on. It's a good idea when you start playing with this, have a look, all the connections fine. You need to replace anything. I see it's got a bit of a bend in it, a bit of a bow. If it wasn't like that from factory. Okay, as you've seen, I've taken the radiator off. I've got a little trick here my brother told me about, and so what I've done is I've actually kept the old hoses. Don't throw anything away, you never know when you're going to need a spare. But I've got this this hose, and I've put a little hose, Retec hose fitting on there. So what I'm going to do is obviously water now, or coolant would normally go through the top, end up coming through the bottom. I'm actually going to attach it to the bottom, like so, and put the hose on and let it run for about 5-10 minutes out on the lawn and see what shit comes out.
And yeah, so happy days. I'm going to go and do that now. It's a bit early in the morning, so I'm actually having a coffee, which is keeping me going. But let's go and do this. I don't know, let's see if any crap comes out of this. A bit. So, just fresh now. Oh, let's just keep running it. Bit more pressure. Might let it run like that for a few minutes. Undo the that hose, put it down on that one, and see if we're putting any scale or sludge out the other way. Having a little bit of crap, it's not too bad, which is good and bad news. Alright, let that run.
Right, beautiful. Now once again I've sped this up, make it a little bit quicker. I'm just going over the terminals with a bit of emery there, bit of sandpaper. It's a good idea, things that have been in one place for years, just to go over those terminals, give them a rub back, get them back to the brass. You don't have any issues later on. And once again, you'll notice that I'm using anti-seize. Love the stuff. Can be messy depending on what brand you use. So obviously, yeah, here we go, I'm getting a rag. But you won't have any issues undoing things or snapping them later on down the track. And they won't rattle loose, anything like that. Still do them up nice and tight. Figure out which way this went back on. Thermal fan. I did this over a couple of days. Very hot bloody weather. So just making sure all the bolts are going on for the thermal. See the left hand side at the bottom, you'll see that little grommet bit, it's like a little round dick, there's one on either side. That's what will slip in on the frame, hold the radiator there. You'll see in a minute, I'll use that. Just put all the wiring back in. Yeah, it's weird, it's got a little bit of a banana bend to it, this radiator. But she flushed out pretty good. It was only a little bit of Mooky come out of the bottom. Did it both ways. Flushed it for a bit. Yeah, so it's not too bad actually. I'm really happy with the crap that come out. And it's still a concern. Is it going to be, you know, a water pump issue, and then I'll have to do that at one stage? But I'm happy with how this is going so far. Now I wanted to clean all the scale and crap out before flushing. I'll still end up flushing. A lot of people will just drop the coolant out, leave the radiator in there, and put a flush through. I wanted to just get rid of all that crap out so I don't affect the water pump any more than it needs to, and then do a flush. But it's up to you how you want to do it. Not a major job to take the radiator out. Gives you opportunity to get to know your bike. Alright, they're the little bits side, I'm trying to line them up. Happy days. It's not a hard job, it's just fiddly. And as you go to put it back in, there's not much room to obviously get your fingers in there and tools, but just be patient. Better off doing it right the first time, going down the road and bloody coolant go everywhere. Line it up slightly. Don't forget, be hard. You're holding one thing, so the less you've got to tighten with it spinning around, the better. In one side or the other. There's a little 10mm. Go up in there and just hold the tank. If you got something. Try and do that top hose up. The new hoses. The other ones you was playing with are in the box. I'll hang on to them just in case. This is important to make sure you get all the wiring out of the way, back in where it should go. You don't want any of that rubbing getting in the way of the blade of the fan, rubbing on the frame. And it's always worth checking, after a good ride as well. Just go and make sure nothing's moved. It's all in the right spot. Bottom hose. Bottom hose is nice and easy, other than being too old and fat to lay down on the ground. But you would have noticed now, not while I've done this job, but I actually have the bike lift now. Makes it a lot easier. You do little things to make life easier. If you have a look where my kickstand is, it's still on that block of wood. Bit of a 70 by 35, just helps straighten that bike up, otherwise it'll be leaning too much my way. It's not going to fall over the other way. Just makes it a lot easier to maintain, easy to do at home. Radiator guard back on. It's the original one too, by the way, that one. In fact, there's two little clips up top that it hangs on. You can see one there now, right up top, and that's the only one holding it there because the other one is actually broken off on the radiator, so I have to get that brazed up, or eventually I'll replace that radiator, but hopefully that one hangs on. Sheer vibration would have done that over the years. Happy days.
Okay, as you've seen, I've got the radiator back on. She's all plumbed back up. I've gone over the earth wiring. What I'm going to do now is I've got some water, clean water, some radiator flush. I'm going to be topping it up into there. But what a lot of people don't realise is that that's not just the filling point. You've actually got the coolant one at the back. So right at the back here, as it says coolant, undo that. Put a light in there, and there's a bottle at the back there. So it's very hard to see right at that, but you actually top it up there too. And so I'll be putting some in there and up top. So we'll get that going, fill it up, and then I'm going to run it for 7 to 15 minutes. Just idle here, and then I'll drop it underneath again via the only place you really can drop it is at the water pump, other than at the bottom radiator hose. But I want to go through the water pump to make sure if there's any shit in there, it's going to be drained. So that's what I'll be doing in a minute. Next step.
Okay, I'm going to sort of put the flush in. Put some water. Top a little bit of water in there first. I've actually made a funnel. It's a thin funnel, and I'll put a bit of hose on it, garden hose. And it makes it a lot easier to get into that radiator, but also down the back, that coolant is where you can top up there as well. You just can't tip anything in there. You need a hose to get into it, and it actually fits in there nice and doesn't leak when I pour anything in. Now these are a bugger to top up. They really are. I want to spit back out. Now what I'm using is a Penrite radiator flush. I actually run Penrite in all my vehicles, so it's whether it's Penrite coolant, Penrite engine oil. I trust the stuff. It's a very good product. Highly recommend it. Not that I get any for free. I wish. Dear as shit all these days, and any other product. So don't rush these things, just slowly pour it in. You don't want to be wasting a good flush. Very time consuming, takes ages. Yeah, you may have noticed me, my new beast in the background there as well. There she is, look at that. Little D3 BSA, Bantam. Little two-stroke. It's a fucking little weapon. Slowly doing the bar up, and that's one of the main features. So I'll have to do a video on that at one stage. You can't rush these things. So this is a section of the back, and once again, this is the putting a little bit of coolant in there too, because it's going to be picking it up from there also. But it just fits in nicely. I wish I had a bit of a close-up shot of this. It's, yeah, anything you can make life a little bit easier, and it does. And it's just a bit of garden hose on it, one of those cheap dollar funnels. That SP torch is down the side, so I can actually see the level on the little bottom tank. You just can't see else. A bit of light helps. Now I'm not going to give you the actual mils, how much you're supposed to put in and all that, just read instructions of any flush you buy. Go by that. Just little bits at a time, because it just wants to flow straight back out. Just little airlocks. And the old tonic bottles. Bit of dry ginger ale bottle. Slee Jacks and dry ginger ale there. Recycling at its best. Obviously hot day, I'm drinking water, look at me go, bloody hell. Good thing I looked and it wasn't radiator flush. Yeah. We're getting there. So once this is done, put the cap back on and I'll run it. Takes a while, guys. Be patient with it when you're doing your own. Yep. Let's put the cap back on in a sec. Surely I must be just about done. Yep. I'll start her up. Get the air bubbles out first, but I want to push out. Let's give it a go. Okay, so we've put radiator flush in and water. Run it for about 15 minutes. I waited for the thermo fan, that's been on half a dozen times. On the car, you can generally pop the radiator cap and you can see the top level, and then you lose that level once the thermostat opens. On this one you can't, when it pushes out, it makes a shitload of a mess. So I've had a look, there's no leaks from the work I've done. So what I'm going to do is let it cool down, go and have a beer because it's bloody getting hot. Come back, I'm going to drain it, and what I'll do is once I drain it, I'll have a look to see if there's any mooky and shit in it. No doubt there is. And then I'm going to put some good quality coolant in. Might go for a ride to see how it goes, but I need to bolt the tank back on, obviously the seat, neaten everything back up, and fingers crossed it doesn't overheat when I go for a run. Really hoping that's not the problem, you know, the water pump, and I'll just have to inquire on what that's going to cost me to get done, but you know, shit happens. So yeah, I'll show you when we drain it to see what's in the sediment. Thanks guys. Okay, so I've there you go. She's out the front, ready to go for a ride. This is the crap that I got out of it, and to be honest, there's not a lot of stuff in there, which is good and bad because she's overheating. So I'm really hoping it's not the water pump. But it's a hot day today, so have a look at this. I've got insulation in the shed up on the roof. I don't know if you can see that. It's about 41. Oh yeah, happy day. So 41. Yeah, it's let me turn this bloody thing around. There we go. So bike's done. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to go for a run and see if it really heats up. Hoping it doesn't. This will certainly tell me a day like this, so I won't go too far, but might as well have fun while I'm doing it. Welcome back, guys. So I've gone for a ride. Bloody hot weather. Probably did about 10 Ks. Probably yeah, close to 8 of that on highway speeds, 110 Ks an hour. Pulled up in some shade, had a listen, had a look. No leaks, seemed all right. Drove back through town. The last, probably about a couple of Ks, just at the lower speeds, street speeds, 60 Ks an hour, that sort, 50, 60. So you're not getting a lot of wind going through the radiator, through those fins. And the thermo fan kicked in town, which I expected it would, because it is a bloody hot day out there. That it was unbelievable to ride in. And but it didn't spit out any coolant or anything like that, so I brought it back in the shed, shut it down, had a look. Yep, thermo fan was going, so I'm glad that works. But other than that, no issue. So it was only a small run, just a test to make sure that everything had sealed up right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a few beers, and then later on this arvo, when it cools down, I'll come out. I want to check those levels again, the coolant levels, and hopefully, cross my fingers, I'm not going to have any issues. And if I do, I know what it is. It's got to be that water pump, and I'll have that changed. I'll get some inquiries done on that, what it's going to cost and where, all that sort of shit. But you can't rush these things. But I'm glad, I was able just to get on and go for riding it. Best therapy in the world, man. Fucking fantastic. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, any comments, and helpful ones. Don't be a smart ass. And remember, the open road is always calling. Thanks, guys.